Hello everyone, my name is Brianna Meyer, and for the project on the influence of communication, I chose McMillan Electric. Throughout this presentation, I will talk about McMillan Electric in general, like who they are, why I chose them, internal and external communication practices, and safety influence with communication. So who is McMillan Electric? They're an electrical contractor located in Marshfield, Wisconsin. They're a small business with about 30 employees, and they provide the different services following: residential, commercial, industrial, agricultural, and then other services as well. For this project specifically, I interviewed Wayne Meyer. He is the owner of McMillan Electric, and he's been with the company for about 15 years now. So why I chose McMillan Electric. The cool part about why I chose it is it's actually a family company. Wayne's my dad, and I wanted to keep the interest in the family because a lot of what he does right now with McMillan is directly relating to my classes. It's helping me show more interest in it and just getting to know my dad on a business level and just learning from his different business ownership and the experiences that he's coming across with it. So who's involved with the communication process at McMillan? So I broke it down in a couple different, in two different branches here. So project-based and customer-based. So for projects, who's all involved is inspectors, general contractors, engineers, power companies, and the list can kind of go on and on with that because of the variance in the projects. That depends on the complexity and just who's all involved. They could really communicate with everyone involved in the project. And then your customer base. So you always have your communication with new customers, ongoing customers, recurring customers, and suppliers and things like that. And then, of course, all employees are involved with all different levels of communication with all of these people. So to talk a little bit more in depth about internal networking and communication that goes on within McMillan, and then kind of tying it into that networking, just to understand the overall process a little better. So starting with general contractors, these are the people who are going to be hiring McMillan to do the electrical services on jobs. So they're going to be in contact with Wayne throughout the project that's ongoing, asking him questions. It's just a little bit more of a direct way to get questions answered because he's the decision maker anyways. It doesn't have to go through the chain at all. General contractors will oftentimes contact the office as well and new customers because they'll be contacting the office too. Just because when you do have a general question, it oftentimes is directed towards the office and then they get the answers that way and supply who needs the information that way. So then the office is relaying information to Wayne, and then so Wayne, he is the overall communicator and decision maker. So everything's going to be streaming from him from this point on. So from the information regarding jobs is going to be go directly to the master and journeyman electricians in charge of the projects. These people are going to they will need to understand specific job information, which is relayed from Wayne, instructions. They will need to gather the correct materials and analyze the overall situation of the job. There's going to be a back and forth action between the master and journeyman and the owner, just because they're the one directly under them. They're running the projects. So then from that point on, that information is going to be transferred to the apprentice and entry level electricians. Um, they are working directly under the master and journeymans, and they're being taught by them. They're kind of learning, doing that learn as we go projects, just because of the differences in the types of projects and complexity sometimes is really different. So they're learning as they go with these types of things. So it's really important to have good communication skills and bringing the questions back from there. And generally, there won't be very much direct communication between the entry levels and the owner. So now relating to why communication is important in general. I like to break this into a couple different categories, one being the timely manner. So staying on schedule. This involves ensuring that materials are being ordered and are coming in on time and just keeping the job itself on schedule because one small error that is made within the company can set things back, and then there's multiple different people that are working on the same project. So it's really important that things are running smoothly in that way. Understanding customer needs. So when a customer is telling you what they need. It's really important to understand that you know what they want and that you're listening to them, because that relates directly with how satisfied the customer is. And then high productivity levels kind of ties in with everything. So getting things done right the first time, which creates a smooth project, and then in turn will make more profits for the company, which benefits the company and the employees as well. And then my number one reason why communication is important is safety. And I'll get into that in the next slide more in depth here. So the safety influence. At McMillan Electric, we make safety a priority. Safety meetings are held as well as mandatory safety training, which is held twice a year or as needed, because there's always new equipment coming on site, and the projects are so different that when technology is changing and things like that from project to project, it's really important to keep all the employees up to date with what's going on. Overall, when a project manager is overseeing the younger electricians, they're working under them. So whatever they're doing, they're an influence to those younger workers. Really important that you ensure that your employees are being leaders and setting good examples, because safety at McMillan Electric, it's embedded into the culture and kind of expected from day one. So that just kind of helps ensure that everyone is following the correct procedures. So the types of communication that kind of are directly related to the communication is knowing and understanding specifications, like codes and things like that, to ensure that everyone's remaining safe practices. And then understanding procedures, and also bringing it back to always asking questions if you have them. So to tie in with the safety, these are a couple different machines that McMillan has on site, and that they own. So with all these different exposures that the employees have, knowing and understanding the machines and the practices that come along with these machines, sometimes is overlooked within companies because it might seem like common sense. But these are the things that need to be reviewed, because it's oftentimes what gets missed. When you're dealing with high levels of energy like electricians are, it oftentimes can create an unsafe environment just because of how risky it is. And understanding the equipment use and application as well can help enforce safety and communication at the workplace. So tying this in, how can communication can maintain an efficient work environment? From what I gathered with my interview and multiple discussions to follow about communication at McMillan, I thought I would group the information into three main points. And all of these are related to communication and how important these practices are to ensure a safe, effective, and profitable company. Number one, I started with how to create a comfortable environment. So it's really important for everyone to be promoting safety and getting your employees involved in these decisions that are being made, to ensure that they're following them, they're excited, and that they're more apt to take an initiative in it that way. Then, number two, maintaining a stable communication flow. This is really important because when everybody knows their part and what they're expected to do, it things get done more efficiently, and it just keeps projects running really smooth. Number three, when your leaders are taking initiative, it's really important that your leaders are, demonstrating those safe practices to help guide your younger workers through the safe practices as well. It just helps for an overall smoother practices going on, and it just helps build relationships and make everything better in that way. So wrapping things up, I just want to say thank you for listening, and please let me know if you do have any questions